Welcome back to the Film Bluffs podcast for our second episode. We haven't been blocked yet. We're not canceled. We're still going strong. We're back for episode 2, baby. So
Deuce, baby.
Deuce. Doce. No, that's 12.
We're not there. I was going to say double deuce, but that would be 22. So we're a little ahead of ourselves.
We're planning for the future.
We're back for number 2, y'all. Number 2 in our all black outfits. Today we're sponsored by Sonic. Treat yourself, treat someone else, just because.
Order in the app for half price.
We're not actually sponsored, but we're coming to you right now in this moment where we are just moments after Cade's favorite TV show finished. So I'm going to give you a few minutes to tell us about it and tell us how you feel.
Heartbroken, sad, bittersweet. I loved it. It was amazing. It was way better than I could have even ever imagined. And I was a little concerned going into it just for the fact that they had already announced several spinoffs from the show. There's 3 characters from the main show that are getting a spinoff. There's 2 different spinoffs. And so I was afraid that the whole finale would be setting up those spinoffs.
Yeah.
And the only thing that they did that sets up the spinoff is like, hey, let's go check out some other places.
Okay.
It was literally like a second, and that was it.
Are the spinoffs going to be similar to the show, or is it going to be like a slightly lesser version of the show?
I think it's going to be the same vibe. Similar characters, but they're in a different situation. 2 characters will be in New York City, and then another character will be in Paris. And so it'll be different to kind of see how that all plays out.
Blue light is just blinding. I cannot look away from that. Where was that last time? Has that always been there? Oh my God,
Maybe.
yes, thank you. Is mine distracting you?
I'm good.
I was just zoned into that blue light, dude. It was freaking blinding me. Okay, we're back.
But yeah, it was an amazing finale. Probably one of the best finales I've ever watched.
How'd you feel? It wrapped everything up.
It had so many full circle moments, and not just from the very first episode, but because a lot of the characters that were in the finale weren't even in the first 3 seasons. And so they had their own full circle moments for when they first came onto the show. And so there was just so many, just like wrapping it up in a way. Like I said, it wasn't just strictly let's set up for the future. It was let's wrap this up in a way that's like,
wow, nice,
totally for like the fans who have watched it. And so it was so amazing just to see.
How many times did you cry?
I teared up at the beginning. 2 characters had died like kind of right away. Dang. Spoiler alert. I won't tell you who. But
he told me. I know.
Not that one.
Oh.
There's 2 other ones. And
I know a different secret.
And then as the episode goes on, then you find out who else, you know, and there's several just scenes leading up to it. And so it's just, all of them were heartbreaking, and the goodbyes were heartbreaking.
The goodbyes always are.
It was always, it got me.
Is it like a group of people that have been together going apart? Was that kind of like the finale, and then from there they're going to take 3 different spinoffs of like different groups leaving?
So how it was like the whole concept of the season and ultimately the finale was them getting back together. They had kind of been separated throughout the whole series or whole season. And so they finally come together, and then the setup for the spinoffs was kind of like now they're building this bigger world basically. And so now they're wanting to bring other people in, find out what's out there, because they've all just been stuck in this little area of Virginia for this long now. And so that's how it's set up for 2 of the spinoffs, and then 3 of the other spinoff is to give conclusion to 2 characters who had left earlier on in the series. So
how many characters from the first episode were in the last episode?
Well, the first episode was different because it was only Rick Grimes in the first episode.
Okay.
And so
second episode.
Even then, first season, from the very first season, I think they come in the third episode. I think maybe the end of the second episode, but from the first season, only two.
Only two,
and
then
make
it the whole series.
And then one from season 2, and then the rest came season 4 onward. And so
was Jeffrey Dean Morgan in the finale?
Yes, he did.
Does he have a spinoff?
He does. He's going to New York with Lauren Cohan.
I'm surprised he's doing more seasons.
He loves the show. He is very dedicated to the show, and he was actually one of the ones that was so mad that they announced the spinoffs as early as they did. They announced the spinoff around the same time as this final season was announced.
Oh, weird.
And so
so it kind of ruins parts of the last season.
And so specifically for his character throughout the season, there were some bits in there were some times where his character was kind of in jeopardy, and
everyone's like, "Oh yeah, well he's fine."
Yeah, he was like, "Oh, he's gonna." They actually announced one of them before the season finale of the season before.
Oh,
and so there was, which now she's not even part of the spinoff. She's backed off of it, but it gives the illusion that she's gonna die in the season finale, and then you knew. That she wasn't going to. Yeah, she already signed on to a whole spinoff. But he was definitely one of the ones that was mad that AMC announced that there were going to be so many spinoffs because it was ruining some of the momentum of the final season.
I'm just having a memory right now from when I went to Comic-Con. They had a whole Walking Dead thing there, and you I don't remember. I think it was a maze or something. And you go through and all of these walkers and these zombies were coming at you, and it was seriously freaky. I don't know why I just remembered that right now. Probably because we're talking about Walking Dead. They had all of these crazy things. It was a shipping container thing, and I think you had to walk through that. They had a bunch of Walking Dead stuff because I went in 2015 and 2016, those summers. So it was really big. That would have been towards the first
15
5
would have been
seasons,
5,
3 and 4, something like that. 5.
Yeah, because it started in 2010, so it was easy to kind of go.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, so it would have been season 5, so it was right in the middle, height, it's really popular.
Mm-hmm.
I remember that was a huge deal. Wish I wasn't watching it at that point.
That's about when I was starting it.
You started watching it when it was in season 5?
I started watching it when it was halfway through the back half of season 4. So the first episode...
You just picked up watching it?
No, it's right when I got Netflix.
Oh, Netflix.
And that was the first show I watched on Netflix. Because I was I had heard so much about it, and I was like, I'm going to give it a try. And then I binged the first 3 episodes in a few weeks. Or not 3 episodes, 3 seasons. And then like I said, they were in the middle of airing the fourth season. And so I remember when it was time for the finale, again, finales were... This one was the first big finale in a while, but finales were huge at that time. And I stayed up till 2 a.m. watching the first half of season 4, went to sleep, and then about 2 p.m. started watching the back half that led all the way into the finale.
So then you could watch the finale live?
Mm-hmm. And from then on, I watched the season 4 finale live onward.
All the way through.
Until,
do you have AMC Plus?
Until season 10, I got AMC Plus, and then I just started watching.
Is that what they call it, AMC Plus?
Mm-hmm. And then they started releasing the episodes $8 a month, and then they started releasing the episodes a week early, so you could watch it before they aired.
Oh, really?
Except for tonight, they aired the penultimate episode a week before it aired on TV. Then there was a break for it to air on TV, and so anybody like me who watched it on AMC Plus had to wait 2 weeks instead of a week to watch it, because then they didn't even put it on AMC Plus today until 8 o'clock.
They watched it all. Everyone could watch it at the same time. That's
Prevent
good.
Spoilers and everything.
Spoilers. So. I remember when, I don't know, it was in one of the early seasons of the show. There was this huge spoiler about a character that had died. And someone posted about it on Twitter, and it went viral. And everyone was crazy mad.
I wonder who it was.
I could tell you, but I don't want to have any spoilers.
Just bleep it out.
Let's talk about series finales.
Let's do it.
Okay, so other than The Walking Dead, what series finales have imprinted on you?
Okay, this one's funny. You won't relate to this one at all, I don't think.
Okay.
Star Wars: The Clone Wars.
I've never seen it.
Yep. Yeah. I started really liking Star Wars when I was probably in like 3rd or 4th grade or something, and so I watched all like the original movies and everything, and then they started coming out with the Clone Wars cartoon, and they like played it, or they like released it up until I was like, ironically, it was the same time that I started watching Walking Dead, because I got Netflix because of that, because they were gonna air the Lost. They got canceled, and so they were gonna air the Lost episodes on Netflix. And so then while I was waiting for them to premiere on Netflix, I started Walking Dead. Like I said, they got canceled. It originally was airing on Cartoon Network, and then when Disney bought out Star Wars, they canceled it. Well, then when Disney Plus came out, they brought it back for actual final season to kind of complete the story. Mm-hmm. And so when Disney Plus came out in 2019, 2020, something like that. I think it was 2020. So at this point, like, I'm full grown. It's
they
like
bring
been
it back.
Yeah, it's been years since it like got canceled, and so to finally like get that kind of like closure for that show, that was kind of cool, and it was an amazing finale. So it was like it was 4 30-minute episodes each week, all builds into like one like 2-hour event. So other than that,
I feel like series finales are going to the wayside, along with series in general, because of the short form series. Like, the only short form series that we're getting right now that's actual series has been Stranger Things.
Yeah.
Like, we've gotten a bingeable series with Stranger Things, but it's like a season every 2 years. So it's kind of like pliable, that when the series comes to a close, even though it's only going to be 5 seasons, it'll be like a big deal.
Yeah.
But other than that, I don't really know of any show, maybe potentially like Outer Banks. It's only on its like 2nd season?
Yeah,
Are there
I think
3 seasons?
they're working on their 3rd.
Are you asleep over there in the corner?
We have a guest in the studio today.
We have a live studio audience. How many seasons of Outer Banks are there? 3 seasons.
3? Where would I miss the 3rd? I never watched the 2nd, but when did I miss the 3rd?
Is it the last one, or they're going to keep going? Okay. So I guess potentially Outer Banks will have a series finale that will be another bingeable one. But other than that, it's like most things are short form, limited series, like 7 episodes and it's done.
Yeah. Which, to a point, like, I like those sometimes. Like, if it's not long enough for a full series, that's cool. Make it just 1 season.
Yeah.
Don't push it longer than it needs to.
Definitely there have been shows that needed to be short form series that were turned into actual series. Like we talked about last week with Riverdale.
Yes. Should have been just 1 season.
Should have been a short form series.
But I was thinking about this when I was watching Walking Dead. Like I was telling you before we started recording, I actually watched this one live. And so I watched it with commercials and everything, and I was sitting there thinking, I was like, wow, like there's not really any shows on, maybe like Yellowstone. I think people really like Yellowstone.
Yeah. I think that one comes out weekly.
It does.
Yeah.
On like a cable network too. So, but just like the fact that I was like having to wait through commercials to like finish out this like finish out what's happening, and then like the fact that we had to wait weeks to get to this point, not just binge the entire season and get to it, but had to wait for it. I thought that was just like, it makes it more special.
Yeah.
And so, and I was thinking like they had a whole red carpet and like a huge event for the Walking Dead finale tonight.
Yeah, it's probably going to be one of the last ones that they do that for.
Yeah.
Like there's probably not going to be that many more series that have made it 11 seasons.
Yeah.
To where you're like, is 11, right? So you make it 11 seasons to where you're like, yeah, this is like a huge deal. Because like when The Office finished, they had like a whole like huge like parade event in Scranton where like the whole cast was there to like celebrate their like wrap of their show. And like that just wouldn't happen nowadays. Yeah. I mean, I guess there's probably going to be some sort of like Netflix event for Stranger Things, I would assume.
I would say if there's any big show right now, like to that magnitude right now, it's Stranger Things.
Yeah, Stranger Things is probably like, at least currently, obviously, like there's going to be more shows that are going to come out, and hopefully we see more long form series, because I do enjoy long form series. But other than Stranger Things, there's not a ton that are just like so in the like entertainment industry huge. Because like Outer Banks is big with people.
Yes.
But it's not big in the industry.
No.
Like it's not selling crazy merch. It's not having these crazy billboards and events and things of like costumes for Halloween for like all ages.
Yeah.
But like Stranger Things is that. It's like all ages obsessed. We were at the mall and I was shopping in like the little kids section for Wyatt, and there was like Stranger Things merch for like little tiny kids, and I was like, these kids should not be watching Stranger Things. But maybe if their parents were big fans, but like you just don't see that with any other TV shows. I see it more with music artists, like Justin Bieber had a line of little kid t-shirts, or like a ton of little kid t-shirts with music artists, but hardly ever movies outside of Star Wars. Even I wouldn't say any other movie series besides Star Wars, really. And then like no TV shows besides Stranger Things.
Yeah.
That are on currently that aren't kid shows.
Yeah. Or Marvel. Marvel's the only other.
Yeah, but like
big
they're
thing,
staple
but
superheroes. Yeah, but you're not seeing like WandaVision.
Yeah, no. It's like
merch.
it's the whole Marvel universe. It's
like
all one.
Captain America.
Yeah.
Or like
big
Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Which I think I like short form TV shows when it comes to that.
Mm-hmm.
Like I've liked Marvel turning, instead of doing like a whole big time movie, doing like a mini series, but
enough
it
to
is a
tell
long
story.
movie, you know?
'Cause I think Marvel is all about like telling their overall story
Yeah.
that they use within all of their different characters, which ultimately bring like their development and everything, making solo projects and everything. But ultimately, each project is to further the overall storyline. And so like miniseries like that is, I think, perfect for that.
Definitely. You just fit it in like a puzzle piece.
Yeah.
And then you can like fill in a lot of plot holes that way by like, oh, well, you would have had these huge plot holes in Doctor Strange if you wouldn't have had WandaVision.
Yeah.
And so time where you can't really fill in plot holes in movies, you can just be like, oh, well, we'll show this series first.
Yeah.
Fill in the holes, make money, and then
And then the fact that they have been doing it weekly does kind of help.
Yeah, it is
make
cool.
it like draw in a little more. One thing that I was thinking of during the finale too is about also back to like the short form series, is that for those like short form, it's hard to have like an actual, like it's meant, I think, better for that when you're building an overall story. Mm-hmm. But for an actual story and character development, it's not really the best for that, just because it's so rushed. Because you're limited to like 6 or 7 episodes, so you really can't have time to build that story or that character and like get drawn like close to those characters. And I was thinking like one thing that made The Walking Dead so special was its characters and was its character development.
Yeah.
And how they'd spend an episode just focusing on that character development. And then like just how I said like only 2 people from the first season made it to the finale. And looking at those 2 people, if you watch from season 1 to season 11, totally different people. One of them, you would have thought you saw him in season 1. She never would have made it to the 11th season. So I just think that's better. Like the long-term, long-form series are better for that storytelling, character development, getting connected with the characters, which I think is ultimately what storytelling is all about.
Which it's crazy how movies are able to do that like within a couple hours sometimes. Yeah. And usually they'll do that in like a fast-paced thing of like throwing you into like the middle of something. You don't necessarily see, like most TV shows pick up, and almost every TV show either picks up like at an action, like what had happened on Walking Dead, or when a new character is being introduced. So like you're learning alongside everyone else. Mm-hmm. So it's like, or alongside this person. So like take Brooklyn Nine-Nine starts first episode with Holt becoming the captain. So he's meeting all of the detectives. So at the same time as he's getting introduced to them, you're getting introduced to them. Yeah. So it's like a way of introducing these characters without like having to really introduce them.
Yeah.
Or they do the whole like, oh my gosh, hey brother, you know? Oh, hey best friend for 10 years.
Yeah.
Just like a way to like throw in like who we are, like what is our relation.
I always love watching like when I start a new series, trying to figure out who everybody is and how they tell that part of it.
Yeah, or like, you know, new girl, Jess coming in, you know, You've got The Office. Ryan comes in the first episode and they introduce everyone around with him. They do that so much with like TV shows and movies in One Tree Hill. It throws you into like the beginning of a storyline. So it throws you into like, okay, in this first episode, we're going to see how Lucas is going to become part of this like popular crowd and part of this basketball team and all of this division. And then you have to learn what happened before. And like, okay, these guys are brothers, but like they don't know each other. What's the vibe? And you have to learn everything before. But with movies, they're just going to throw you like right up in the middle. And they're like, here's this crazy chick who's a hot mess. And throughout the movie, you'll learn all about her life. Maybe we won't tell you.
Yeah.
But they somehow still make you feel attached.
Yeah.
Which is like, sometimes the really popular movie franchises are the ones with like multiple movies. So they have more time to build that character development. But if you think about it on the grand scheme of things, even like say Hunger Games, there's like 4 of those movies, 4 or 5. So if each of those movies is 2 hours, that would only be like 8 or 10 episodes.
That'd be like a season.
Yeah.
One
Barely.
season, barely.
That would be the whole, but that was the whole movie series. So the TV show, you're really getting so much content.
Yeah.
And it's crazy how movies can have like crazy fanatics. Because if you only had 10 episodes of a show, you wouldn't be that into it as you are in a movie. But the character progression is just so different.
Yeah. I honestly think that's why I enjoy television, like shows, just more better than movies. More better. It's just because they just do so well. Most of them do so well at just telling the story and telling the character story, and so has more time to focus on that.
Let me tell you about a series finale that I loved, and mention a series that we haven't mentioned yet. And our studio audience is going to love this one. Jane the Virgin. I don't
know if our studio audience is awake
I think
yet.
she's asleep. Are you asleep? Our podcast is so interesting that she's asleep. She didn't even react. I said one of her favorite shows. I love...
You're fired. Get out.
Are you asleep? You didn't even hear me? Did you hear me? You were asleep. Don't even lie. You're lying right now to our faces and our podcast. Hold on.
The last time
Listen
we
to
invite
this.
somebody on this podcast.
I said Jane the Virgin.
I love Jane the Virgin.
I know, and you were asleep and you weren't even listening.
What did you say?
See, you're sleeping. Our podcast is so interesting. Your face is all red like you're freaking sleeping. Were you watching Facebook videos?
No.
What were you watching?
The back of my eyelid.
I knew you were asleep. You little brat. Okay, go back to sleep. I'm just never going to mention you again. Huh?
Wait, what did you say? Jane the Virgin.
I was talking about series finales.
It's a good series finale.
It is a really good series finale. It's really fun. It's a really fun series finale because you get everything you want out of it, and then it like makes sense of the show. So it's like, because Jane the Virgin is like a telenovela, but it's modern.
Nice.
So it like has all these crazy things that are happening. It's like a soap opera. And so then at the end of the show, it makes sense of the reason the whole show happened the way that it did. And so it was just fun. I thought it was really good. There are plot points throughout that show that I thought were ridiculous or not well done, but the series finale I loved. I do love that show. It's really good.
Nice.
You guys should watch Jane the Virgin. All right.
I'm good.
I think it's about time we hear from one of our sponsors. Wait, is this our sponsor one?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now you pick one.
Who wants to go first?
I got vase. Vase.
I got trolley. Trolley?
Trolley vase.
Trolley vase.
Vase trolley. Oof. Trolley vase.
Do you like to take a ride on a trolley? Do you have a vase but don't know where to put it? It's always falling down when you hit a rock and boom, just trolley, just not stable. Well, introducing Trolley Vase. It's a vase that is meant for a trolley. You hit a rock, you hit a bump, you hit a speed bump, because you all know those suck. Your trolley vase can handle it. It stays perfectly upright no matter what happens. You could be having an earthquake. You could be having a hurricane, a tsunami. I don't know. Perfectly stays upright.
If you're the kind of person who loves to take fresh flowers on the go with you, you should get a trolley vase. Is that what it was?
Trolley
it's called
vase.
a trolley vase.
Yes.
It has the mechanics in the bottom of it that stabilize it no matter what is happening. You can even flip it upside down. The trolley vase will not even care. It will not even be moved.
This is so much science. It's almost like magic, okay?
Yep. And today only you can use our code FilmBluffs50 for 50 free trolley vases with the purchase of 100 trolley vases.
Yes.
So you
That is
can
a
get
deal.
150 trolley vases. Only today, though. So whenever you're watching this, this is the day that you can do it. It's not actually today. It's a magic code that whenever you use it, that is the day that it works for, and only that day.
On that day. So do not miss out on your 150 trolley vases.
150 trolley vases you will never go without again.
And enjoy your trolley ride out on the town.
On the trolley.
On the
Okay,
trolley.
we're back. What about series finales? I was thinking when we were talking about series finales, I was thinking about one series finale that I was left so underwhelmed.
Do I know
Seventh
this one?
Heaven.
Oh, I don't know this
I don't
one.
think you've seen the series finale. Have you seen it at all?
I've never seen this series at all.
Never seen
Nope.
Seventh Heaven. Seventh Heaven has got to be one of the most dramatic shows I've ever seen in my life. And it had a hold on my family. It had a hold on us. It was about a reverend and his wife and their 7 kids.
So it's a
If
reality
that was
show.
No. That's just
About your family.
No, because that would mean I was Mary Camden, and I'm no Mary Camden. Well, Mary Camden from the later seasons. She's very cool in the beginning, and then she's bad.
No, her
She does
character
one.
development
She
went
does
south.
one bad thing, and her whole entire life goes off the rails.
And
And
that's
then she
how
leaves
it gets
the show.
you. Don't do drugs,
Because
kids.
Jessica Biel got famous, and she couldn't be on the
Jessica
show.
Biel?
Jessica Biel. She's Mary Camden, dude. You don't even know. I knew. Everyone knew. Grace knew.
Our live studio audience member said she didn't know.
She's never seen Seventh Heaven either.
Oh, look at us. Twinsies.
Here's the thing. Okay, Seventh Heaven is the most dramatic show ever. It had the most dramatic season finales ever. Right? It was like these crazy things happening all the time. You think one of the kids is pregnant. You think this is
Cliffhangers?
happening. Yeah, cliffhangers all the time.
That's
all over the
another thing
place.
that just doesn't happen with short form. No cliffhangers, and I will stand by that. I love cliffhangers. Anyway, go ahead.
Cliffhangers are so good. The end of the series, not saying that there needs to be a cliffhanger. I'm just saying it wasn't dramatic at all. Literally, I'm not kidding you right now. They packed bare minimum 12 people into an RV, and they were just going to go. I don't know where they were going, which is also relatable to my family, and I understand that. But we didn't have this many people, and all of them were adults.
Oh.
There was maybe 3 kids because they had twins in their family, and then one of the daughters had a kid. I think just one kid. Maybe they had 2. I don't know. I think they just had one. But they packed this RV with friends and just people who were in their life. Just everyone in this RV, and they all got to bring one thing. They got to bring one thing, like a book or their cell phone and charger. They almost didn't let them bring the charger, but they did. And I was like, this is the lamest series finale I've ever seen in my life.
You can bring your phone, but no charger.
Yeah,
you
because
can
it was only one thing.
You can bring your charger, but no phone.
One thing. So, you know what? The husband gets to bring the charger and the wife gets to bring the phone.
Kid's screwed. Well, there's 12 of them, so they could even it out.
They just need one
They'd have-
charger if they all have the same phone.
It's true, but one person would still be without a phone.
Well, they have twins, so one can have a phone and the other can have the charger. They could switch.
Just switch phone. They can share a phone. They could
They're
literally
little
use this.
boys.
They could literally use the excuse, "I share a phone with my brother."
Yeah. I think they let them slide as one item, though. But it was just the lamest series finale, and I was like, this doesn't make me feel good about this show that I've watched for 12 years. It's 12 seasons. And that's the end of it.
Again, that's just something that just scares me when a show goes on that long. Is it going to be worth it?
Yeah.
And so I'm glad all the shows that I've cared about that have gone that long, series finales.
You know what
were
I
worth
think
it.
we should do? When Grey's Anatomy ends, we should watch the series finale, and we won't be able to stream it because that'll be copyright. But we'll just the series finale. You'll know less than me because I watched a little bit of it.
Yeah, but it's crazy. I
If
know
that
things
show
about
ever
it.
ends.
Yeah, they literally just Meredith Grey.
She's leaving.
She's leaving.
Yeah.
The show's named after that woman.
Here's the thing: is literally the writer and creator of that show, Shonda Rhimes, said when I think her name's Ellen Pompeo. I don't want to say her name.
I think
wrong,
that's
but
right.
I'm pretty sure that's how it's pronounced. She said when she leaves the show, I will end it.
Lies.
She literally said that. It's on the record.
See, it's hard.
But now she's not going to end it because it makes her so much money, and she ended all of her other shows. She ended How to Get a Bada Booty, How to Get Away with Murder,
How to Get a By a Booty.
and Scandal. They're both over. I think she has another show right now, maybe.
That's
on
the
like
one
one
thing
of the streaming websites.
with shows that specifically like their show has a main character, and those characters leave. That's your cue. It's time to end. That's how I felt with like NCIS. I stopped watching NCIS a long time ago, but Mark Harmon, I think is his name.
Yeah, I think so.
Gibbs left like I think last season, and they're still going strong. And like he was like the main
I
character.
cannot believe that show is still on.
I know.
Old
Grey's
white
Anatomy?
people are
God,
just
yep.
really getting that show going.
Yep. That show has not. Okay, I wouldn't say it's the peak, but I think it's when it started. It's like journey up to the top. Season 2 finale, best
Bro,
season finale
Is
of
that
any
when
show.
the girl gets shot?
Yes. Best
Bro.
season finale of any show. I will die on that hill. It is
Bro.
the plot twist
Oh
of that.
my
Like
God.
she gets shot and you think
Talk-
she's down and
Talk
she gets
about
a bullet to
ripping the
oh.
safety net right from under
Yeah.
you, man.
She gets shot right in the chest. You think she's gone. Gets up. There was a
Right.
bulletproof vest. Oh,
you
she's
see
good.
the relief on everyone's
yeah.
faces.
Everyone's like joking, laughing. Boom.
in the head.
Headshot.
In the head. And if you haven't seen it, you don't even get a spoiler alert because it's been out for a long time.
It's been out for like 20 years now. I don't know what you're doing.
In the head.
Literally, I will argue that with anybody who goes against it. I will die
That's
on
one
the
of the
hill that
greatest
it's one of the
scenes ever.
scenes ever, but one of the best season finales of any
It's one of
show.
the most shocking scenes of my
Yeah.
life.
Like they nailed it.
I remember watching that being a kid, like probably like a preteen kid. We were watching it on TV, and the horror, the shock, I could not believe. To kill off like a fan favorite character, you make us love her. Shot in the head.
Because I think at the time that was like pretty remarkable for the time too. Because it's like 2004, maybe 5.
It was
I think.
early, yeah.
It was early. So there's not many shows kind of like that, and there's definitely not many shows that are killing off characters.
And it helps that there's no like spoiler alert.
Yeah, and there was no like
anything
websites
like
or
that.
Twitter
There
or
was no
anything
Twitter,
that was
no TikTok.
that was just like out of complete nowhere. And so I just
Yeah.
loved every bit of
Oh my god.
every bit of that.
Yeah. Dude, I forgot about that. That freaking scene was crazy.
That was, I would say, their ascent. They were going up because they have a ton of good moments after that. And then, did you ever watch with Ziva?
Yeah.
Once she left, for me, that was boom. I
Yeah,
loved Ziva.
I didn't really watch it. I didn't watch NCIS steadily. We had some friends growing up who watched NCIS, and so we would watch it here and there with them. And we loved USA, so it would come on, and we'd watch it. But I never really like super got into it. That or like CSI, I never really watched any of those. Law and Order, never really watched any of
NCIS
those.
was like the only one, like of the
I really
crime
just
shows
like
that
the
I watched.
funny ones. I like Psych. I like Monk. I like Castle. I like the funny ones.
I haven't watched any. I watched a little bit of Psych, but that's about it.
I feel like you would like Psych. It's pretty funny. Carson's been watching it again lately. He'll probably get like 4 seasons in and then stop watching.
Yeah, I need to
it, 'cause
ask
that's
him
what
if
he keeps doing.
Yeah, I need to ask him if he ever finished Big Bang. He got to like season 6. And
He literally just stops. He'll be in the middle of a show and I'll be like, "Oh, hey, how's it going with your show?" "Oh yeah, no, I'm on this show now." Did
What?
you ever
I
finish
can't
it? No.
I can't say anything. I've done that in the past. a lot,
Lyndon
but-
does that. Lyndon did never finish a show. I think she's maybe finished maybe One Tree Hill. Gossip Girl, I think she's finished. But that's probably it. And she can fact check me if she ever watches our podcast, because I, to this day, don't know if she ever watched the first episode. Nobody mentioned this to Lyndon. And when she watches, if she gets to this point, she can text me to tell me that she watched the podcast and prove herself to be true.
Stay tuned. We'll let y'all know.
Nobody tell her. That's what I've been doing when I've been giving people subtle mentions. Once it gets to their point, if they text me that I mentioned them, I'm like, okay, they're watching.
Caitlin watched our first podcast.
Caitlin was freaking calculating. Caitlin was in here while the countdown, like, it was loading onto YouTube. It was like 6% left, and she's like, "Is it ready yet? Is it ready yet?" Like, I should have just let her watch it off of my computer.
Caitlin is our number one fan, apparently.
Apparently.
She deserves like a little bat. Well, first of all,
Oh, she's sad over here.
Listen, you fell asleep during a live broadcast, okay?
You're our first studio audience, and you fell asleep.
Listen to the second episode of Not Knowing Things.
Oh,
Uh-huh.
go home. You don't want any spoilers.
I'm cry.
Love you, Alyssa. Oh, I love you too, Kate.
She's really gonna cry. She's Okay.
She's curling up into a ball. I'm really glad you're here, Alyssa. Thumbs down. Only one thumbs down. It wasn't two thumbs down. So
Let me
I'm
think.
still winning.
What is another series finale that you love?
Big Bang Theory. Big Bang had a
Is there
Good
a
one.
show we've both seen? I don't think that there
Revenge.
is.
Okay, I was gonna bring up Revenge, but I don't. I'm not the biggest fan of the series finale. I love Revenge, and it's an amazing show. The series finale for me though, wasn't it?
I literally just watched it, and I'm trying to remember.
It was very underwhelming, honestly. Like leading up to like the big point was good, and then it gets to the big point, and then to me the big point, like the whole purpose of the show,
Yeah.
it didn't meet it.
Yeah, that's the thing with when you make a show around one specific action like that. Like, Emily's trying to take down the Graysons, specifically Victoria. And so you drag that out for forever, but you want to keep the tension between the two of them and the audience. So you want everyone to stay in the same level of tension, but you also want to maximize as much money and time as you can get. So there's only going to be so much of this you can do. And that's why they add in characters and kill off characters, and they add in all of these subplots, which makes sense. But yeah, it didn't really like... If you're going to lead something up that big, you have to finish it big.
Yes.
And they
I
didn't
agree.
really finish it big.
Yeah, it was like once you got to the main conflict, it was like rushed. I think.
Yeah. And then like the literal ending in... It's hard to say without spoilers. I mean, it's been out for a long time. If you don't know that Jack and Emily get together, then what even are you doing watching Revenge? You've got to figure that out within like the first 10 minutes. So when they're finally together and they're driving off in the sunset or whatever on their boat, that's how it ends, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, okay, we've waited 5 seasons for this.
4.
It's only 4 seasons. Are you sure? I really thought it was 5.
It's only 4.
It felt way longer than 4 seasons. Do they time jump at all?
No, I don't think so. Maybe at the very end, like at the finale episode. But
Still, 4 seasons for them to get together felt like freaking forever. Of like, okay, I'm not really invested. I don't really care if they're together at this point. That's how I felt, at least. I was like, I literally do not care if they get together or not. You've drugged this on way too long. And you have to do little sneak things like on The Office when Jim and Pam are getting together. They do these little sneaky moments and here and there. And it's not as dramatic as Revenge. Revenge feels like 10 years. I can't believe it's 4 seasons.
yeah, I think the seasons are long.
They're
20,
like
24
24 episodes,
which is
yeah.
long for me. I don't like long.
It is long, but it's like kind of normal for back then.
Yeah.
Those were the days. Nowadays, that's like 2 solid long seasons.
Yeah. It's like the final season of Walking Dead was 24 episodes long, and usually they were 16 episodes.
Oh, wow.
And so
Like
usually
a
they
double
would,
season.
yeah, they basically it was like a season and a half because they would break it up from 3 to 10. They would break it up from the first 8 in the fall and then the back 8 in the spring. And so this one they started the 11th season with the first 8 episodes last year of 21. Then did the second half of the 8 episodes in the spring of this year, and then started the final 8 this fall.
Wow.
So
That's crazy.
I do like that they did that, broke them up a little bit.
Yeah. That's crazy. I was trying to think of other series finales that I either love or don't love. I feel like The Office had a good series finale. It just kind of like The last season or so felt a little unnecessary. Like it just felt.
The last season I could not do because of Andy. Andy really
his
pissed me off
character
in that
just
season.
acts like very different in the ninth season. They just kind of make him more stupid as time goes.
Stupid and more like a jerk.
Oh, also, yeah, that too. And like Brooklyn Nine-Nine, the last season of that, whole last season of that was just really a mess, and I really didn't love the ending of that show, which is hard. I did love the last season and ending of New Girl because it really was a whole different show in that last season. Have you seen it to the end? Have you seen it at all?
I stopped in like season 4.
Oh my god!
I know. See, I told you I'm guilty a little bit.
They time jump from season 6 to season 7. Let's see, a couple years. I think Schmidt and Cece's kid is like 4 or 5.
Oh wow.
She's old enough to like talk and interact and go to school and stuff. Because that's like some of the plot points. So they time jump quite a bit. And then they're like living their life at that point. And so it's kind of like circling around whether or not like Nick and Jess are going to get married. And so it's like this whole thing is kind of like that last season. And then it ends and it time jumps again to like them with all their families and like kids in like the last episode, I think. And then it ends in like this whole big like scene for scene shot from earlier in the series. I'm pretty sure that's how it ends. But I really liked the ending of New Girl. I thought it was really well done. Also, This Is Us. I thought that This Is Us had a really good series finale.
That show either. I remember you and Caitlin.
Oh my god,
talk
it's
about that all
so
the time.
dramatic. Yeah, me and Caitlin love This Is Us. Shout out to Mandy Moore. My girl. I love Mandy Moore. That had a really good series finale. I loved it. I'm really ready for Revenge to be over so we can get some of those actors on other projects.
For what?
Wait, did I say Revenge?
Yeah.
I meant Riverdale.
Riverdale. I was like,
I'm really
Revenge is
ready
over.
for Riverdale to be over so we can get those actors on different projects. Because they have a really good cast.
You're wasting the potential of KJ Appa and Cole Sprouse.
Yeah. I think
probably other
KJ
ones.
Appa's going to be like a chief of his family's...
I don't know. He's
He's going to be some sort of like Indian chief or something of his family's tribe.
His personal life is weird. He's a weird one, but he's a cool weird one. So he's just all over the place. He's just always all over the place. But
I think he's going to be like some kind of like Samoan chief or something. We should fact check that. But I'm pretty sure that he is. I saw it online. So if I saw it online, then it's true. It's true. But I loved Cami Mendes in Do Revenge. Did you ever watch Do Revenge? It's okay. It's kind of a girl movie.
okay, I have a question.
Okay.
On the topic of TV shows, if you are the creator of a TV show,
Okay.
what's the genre, and how many seasons does it run? Like you have full control. Like network has given you has ordered a full series, and you want to tell this whole story in how many seasons and how many episodes per season?
I feel like I have to go off the top of my head of all the things that I love. Workplace sitcom. I love a workplace sitcom, but I feel like as many seasons as I would want to go, a workplace sitcom might not have enough storyline. I feel like there's been so many storylines that have gone on, so maybe I feel like there's been like all of the tropes already so far.
I was about to ask, what would be your workplace?
I don't know. I really genuinely think it would be funny to try to do a wholesome sitcom like about a staff at a church. And like
thought about that. I think it'd be funny.
And not let things go negative and toxic.
Yes.
Because I understand that there are a lot of churches that could be a drama, that could be really negative and toxic. But like the things that go on around here are never negative and toxic.
We need cameras following us just in general.
And it's like, not that I'm like, oh my God, we're so quirky. I really feel like we need to have a TV show. Like, we need to start a podcast. We just are so funny.
We are, but that's not what we're saying.
That's not what I'm saying. But I am saying that there's not one, and there's no one who could make a church workplace sitcom and it not go negative and toxic because of the culture around Christianity being so negative and toxic. And with people wanting to make the church look so bad, there's just no way around it. And plus, most TV shows and sitcoms have this immorality about them that wouldn't line up with working at a church. But you don't have to have all of that.
No.
Like you have crazy situations with will they, won't they's, and people getting married and people having kids and all of these kinds of situations and trips that happen, you know, like conferences and events that happen all of a sudden, and it's a whole day of craziness, and then sadness comes and heartbreak comes and people leave and it's hard and you're having to deal with all of these conflicts. But then it's also really funny, and Kate's walking around with a little baby doll, and it's this running bit that's been going for like 3 seasons, and no one really understands why. But it's like funny, and there's these things that happen, and there's new characters that come in, and there's characters that leave, and
It's characters
you know,
that are
some
only
people-
specific in specific seasons.
Yeah, there's like a 1-season character,
Yeah.
and they go whether or not it's for good or bad reason. And I don't say that like, oh my god, I want to exploit her life. I just think that there's nothing like that.
No.
that would be that.
So I think the
and
thing
I
with
think
that
that we
is-
could do 7 seasons and be good. I think 7 is a good number.
So like 7 seasons, like 1 season a year.
Yeah, I think 7 seasons would be good. I think that's a long enough time for someone to join as an immature, smaller person and be able to grow into the hero of the story and to be like a full-on leader person, you know, and have a full storyline. I feel like 5 seasons is probably good, but I prefer like a 7 to 8 season
7
range.
seasons. I
Yeah.
feel like the 5 to 8.
Yeah. Anywhere in
range
there,
is
I
a
really
good
like.
range.
I think I don't know. I just something about the 7. I like that number for a
good number.
season.
I was thinking like Breaking Bad the other day. It only has 5 seasons and only 60 something episodes.
In 5 seasons?
Mm-hmm. They were
Wow, short seasons.
They were very short seasons. Like what the first. Yeah, I think the
People
last one's the
usually hit
longest
105.
one. Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, all the seasons are pretty short. The last season's the longest with 16 episodes, I think. But they were able to tell a whole story in that time. And the cool thing about that show is their whole series happens within a year's time. Maybe a year
That's
and a half.
right. I forgot about that.
Maybe a year and a half, but
Oh, it's like that show 24. Have you ever seen that show?
I have not. But
Dude, my
the whole
parents-
series happens in 24
well, it's
hours,
like
right?
each
season
season,
happens
yeah.
in 24 hours.
And so like each episode is like an hour. So like it
So then
lasts an
there's
hour,
24
but it's like
episodes.
an hour of that day. And yeah, it's like one day is an entire
I never
season.
I never
My
knew
parents
that.
used
but
to be obsessed with it.
I never knew that, but when I found that out that was the concept of that's where 24 comes from, I was like, that's actually pretty cool. I kind of want to start that.
I
show.
know. We should watch it.
I'd be down.
What does it stream on? We should figure that out.
Possibly Hulu.
Maybe. I love Hulu. My Hulu rant got deleted because it was on the blocked video
What was your Hulu rant again?
about how much I love Hulu and how it lets you forget a season, a series.
I was about to. I figured that out. So don't get mad at me. But
Why would I get mad at you?
So what I'm about to say?
Oh, can you do that on something else?
Huh?
Can you do it on something else?
What?
Forget a season?
No. I thought you were like, can you get mad at me for something else? No.
Can you get mad at me for something else?
Can I get mad at you for something else? I don't know. No. So I took a break from my watch through of Walking Dead from Friday to Saturday just so I could watch the final 4 today, leading into the finale. And so I didn't want to watch and start a new show within that time. So I restarted Nashville just for that time period, and then I'll jump back into it eventually. But I was getting upset because every time I'd go to like click continue watching, it would take me back to
it was the credits.
Well, no, it would take me back to an episode that I had already watched. Like I was like in season 1, episode like 13, and it was taking me back to season 1, episode 4, always. And so I was even if it was done, it just kept taking me back to
That's
past
weird.
episodes. So I was like, I couldn't do it on my phone for some reason. I couldn't figure it out. And
to
so
forget the season, like the series.
and so I found it
Yeah.
on my TV, and I did that, and I was like, oh, I love that.
Yeah, you go like under manage series,
Mm-hmm.
and then you can like take it like I forget what it's called. It's like remove from
Remove
watch list or
yeah.
something like that. And I love that function.
It sucks
it's
though because
so nice.
then I was in the middle of one episode,
I forgot you.
and I forgot that episode, so I had to like fast forward to where I was at. But it was good. The whole series is reset now, so
I love it. I do it every year whenever I watch One Tree Hill. I always
it's
restart
an amazing
it.
feature. I wish, which Netflix isn't too bad.
I thought you were going to tell me that other subscriptions had that, which would be a good thing.
Yes.
But it's one thing I just love that Hulu has. And why is that not a thing?
I don't know, because every time I go to watch Walking
People
Dead,
are
it's
always
just the
rewatching.
same. Yeah.
It's like the main foundation of our freaking lives is people rewatching TV shows. Yet you're going to sit here and tell me that we can't just forget it and start over. Hello. This is why Hulu's the best. I love Hulu.
It just has a good ring to it.
Hulu. I know. I've loved Hulu ever since it first started, man. I was on Hulu when the whole perk of Hulu and having Hulu, which it was called Hulu Plus, I think, or Hulu Premium, something like that. Back when you could pay like, I think it was like $4 a month for it or something like that. $4 or $5 a month, right? But the only perk to it was that you could watch, I guess.
I'm sorry. Our live studio guest is cracking me up over there.
Episodes from the past season, but also you could watch it like the next day rather than normal Hulu. Yeah. You had to wait till the next episode came out. So like
they don't really do that much anymore. Well,
no, because like no shows are doing that. But so it was like, I think I was watching New Girl at the time when Hulu had come out. And so instead of waiting a week to watch the new episode of New Girl, I got to watch it the next day, which now seems like crazy that was a thing. Like that was a huge perk. But that was like the main reason to have Hulu. It's like, oh yeah, to have Hulu Plus, to pay for it. It's like one of the very first subscriptions I ever paid for, Hulu and Spotify. Those are my go-tos. The black and green, baby.
Black and green. At one point, wasn't there like something you could get with Hulu and Spotify like before Disney bought out Hulu?
Probably.
I think so, but
they're the best. I love them. And Hulu, by the way, this is not a sponsored ad, but Hulu is doing a Black Friday sale. So if you don't have Hulu, you can get Hulu for $1.99 for a whole year. So every month it's $1.99 to get Hulu.
My whole
I literally saw that today on
Remove my whole watch list. I don't care.
You probably don't get commercial free though.
Oh yeah, no, never mind.
I know. I'll pay for that commercial free. Speaking of commercials. Ooh, I guess mine's just gonna run at me right there. Okay. I think this is the one you wrote.
Probably. Okay.
What'd you get?
Rock.
Blubber.
Yep, that was mine.
Blubber rock. You ever have this like stubborn blubber?
Blubber rock.
There's this new product and it looks like a rock, right? And you just like roll over it like a log. You just roll back and forth and it just breaks up that stubborn blubber and it goes away.
It's like a
blubber rock.
It's like a, what is it? The little cooking utensil, little rollers.
That's exactly what
and
it's
like. And it's like rolling off the blubber.
Yep. But it looks like a rock. And so it's like got some weird jagged pieces on it. So it also kind of like works your muscles at the same time, like a foam roller would. A blubber rock. Tell them about the deal that they can get for a blubber rock.
All right. If you take our code, FilmBluffs60, you get 62 free blubber rocks with a purchase of 64 blubber rocks.
You're just going to do the same bit from earlier. Tell them about what kind of deal they can get if they use our code today for Blubber Rock.
All right. If you use our code Blubber Rock or Film Bluffs, yes, Film Bluffs.
Film Blubber.
If you use our code Film Blubber 2, you get not only one free blubber rock, but you get an additional free blubber rock with a purchase of 8. And you can give the free blubber rock to your friend so they can also get their blubber off. And you can all get your blubber off together.
Do you have New Year's resolutions?
And you better hurry because they're going fast. New Year's is around the corner, all right? Skip the gym membership.
Slamming
all right?
the table.
Skip the gym membership that you're never going to use after January 2nd and get a blubber rock and just skip the cardio. Just roll over your blubber. All right? Yeah. Just roll it over.
Yeah, this product right here has been on Oprah's favorite things for the past 10 years and they still have some. So
if you use our code and you get the extra one to give your friend, you can just be like, you get a blubber rock and you get a blubber rock.
Everybody gets a blubber rock.
And you get your blubber off. All right. We're back.
This might be our series finale. Speaking of series finales.
Well, it's going strong, all right? That should be the clickbait. It's like, this is our series. We should start doing clickbait.
Man,
this is our
we need
series
to do
finale.
clickbait for the people who only watch it specifically for us. I'm about to trick everybody who watches these.
We're about to trick Alyssa over there.
Yeah, Sadie's gonna be like, "Wait, what? Stop hitting the table, dude! I can hear it. So can they." Smack at the table. My God, this is a lawless land over here, everybody. But for real, we do want to hear from you about your questions that you have.
Don't start
Either.
shooting it to us now, though. It's not a live episode.
Yeah, I cannot respond to messages right now. But shout out to Poppers. But for real, shout out to Poppers, and shout out to Poppers' show, Chuck, which I do love.
Never seen.
And I hated the series finale of that show.
What a shame.
Hated the whole last season. It was terrible. That show actually makes me really mad, the last season.
Sorry,
It
Poppers.
really does. It really does. And I've probably told Poppers about it, and he probably knows. Carson knows. He'll probably never watch our podcast, but Carson knows.
Carson probably doesn't know we have a podcast because he's not on social media.
Oh, you're right.
So
Carson, if you ever find this, you're a loser.
I love you, but you're still a loser.
Anyway, send us your questions, whether you have a topic or a show you'd like us to talk about, or anything in general. Any questions about our favorite shows or TV and film in general.
I got something.
Okay.
All right, homework. If you watch this episode, send us a synopsis of a TV show starring us.
Starring us?
Starring us. What would be our TV show?
If you don't know what a synopsis is, it's like a brief explanation.
You don't have to write a whole script. Just a little paragraph. That's it.
If you want to write a script, we will also perform the script.
We will.
So if you write us a script, we will do it live on here. That is not live. It is pre-recorded. Okay. Last two.
Who knows? We might have a live event that we show the pre-recording.
I got a good one.
I dropped mine.
What does yours say?
Diaper.
I got explosive.
I told y'all.
Explosive diaper. Sponsored by Wawa. Do you ever if you've ever had a kid or know anyone with a kid or been around kids, you know that diapers are literally the worst, and stinky diapers are the worst. And sometimes you're just like, I wish this thing would just disappear. And I don't want it to sit in my trash can. I don't want to walk it out the house. Explosive diapers sound like it might explode all the turd all over the walls. But what it actually does is it has microfibers in the diaper that have been stitched together by a genie. And that diaper just poofs into a cloud of lavender scented smoke. And that diaper, you never have to think about it again. So it's called explosive diaper, but it's actually a really soothing product. You would have never expected that to happen.
And you don't even have to go outside. You can do it.
Just right in your house. Yeah.
You can do it right next to the baby.
Here's
not
the
right
best
on
part.
while that's on
It
the
is
baby,
organic and non-toxic.
We all about that.
Organic and non-toxic explosive diapers, because the genie who weaves together these diapers only eats organic food.
Ah,
He also
we love
doesn't
an
eat
organic
gluten,
genie.
but that's a whole other topic.
that's more of a health.
That's a whole other
More
thing.
personal. We don't get into personal details about the genie in this podcast, okay?
We'll have him on later. But, so if you use our code, FilmBluffs25, you can get 25% off your first purchase of one diaper.
One diaper, just one.
Just a trial diaper. You can't, if you get more than one diaper, our code does not work.
No, just one.
It doesn't work.
And tell them how much our one diaper is.
One diaper, $600.
But it explodes, and you don't have to deal with any mess, any smell.
Nope.
It is well worth $600 for a diaper, okay?
Don't waste it on a pee diaper.
Quite honestly, you could probably use it quite a few times before you
How
let
are
it explode.
they gonna use it a few times?
Just let it fill
It
up.
explodes. in the smoke.
Well, don't you got to take it off the baby first?
Cade, you cannot put a poopy diaper back on a baby.
You don't change the baby. You don't change the baby to begin with.
You cannot let a baby sit in a poopy diaper.
Take it from me, guys.
You
I'm a
sit in your own
non-parent.
poopy diaper, Cade. I don't have a kid.
Speaking of which, now introducing adult-sized explosive diapers.
We now have a
Those are $1,600.
size up to
It's well worth it.
9X. We are body positive here on the Film Bluffs pod. Whether or not you believe that, because we talked about Blubber Rock. But hey, those are
don't-
just our sponsors. We
Yeah.
have nothing to do with that.
We just take the money. All
Yeah.
right. If you want to give us money for a different, better, more correct.
If there's one thing about us here at the Film Bluffs pod, it's that we are only in this podcast for the money.
That's it.
And if you think anything else about us, you are absolutely wrong.
You're definitely wrong.
We don't even know each other.
And
We don't even like each
I
other.
don't even watch this podcast. What
I've
is
never
this?
even seen it.
Where are we at? Who's that girl just been staring at us this whole time?
All right, we're going to sign off. Let's hear from our live studio audience one last time.
You've
Just
already
say,
spoken
say
once.
goodbye to the people.
Goodbye to the people.
All right, send us your questions. Send us your recommendations on topics. Let
Send
us know.
those series synopsis.
Let us know how you feel about today's episode where we talked about series finales. And also send your condolences over to Cade Dakota Hinosa because he's in his mourning period.
The series finale was called Rest in Peace.
But also, everybody, now Cade gets to watch One Tree Hill. And you're going to watch One Tree Hill.
Yes, ma'am.
Because it's the best. And I'm already on season 3.
Okay.
Last week I was on season 2.
Before she started this, she was like, it usually takes me till like January to finish this.
I was sick. For one day. And I watched an entire season. I don't know how it's happened, Cade. It's been too much. Okay. We're done. Don't let us keep talking. Turn us off.
I hope you enjoyed our series finale.
I'm going to turn you off.
I love you guys. You can't mute the...
I muted you. That's just me. Cade's an explosive diaper.
My diaper just exploded.